Chicago just set up and told the cops to protect the protests while ICE takes the heat. Then call star boxing in federal agents, and the mayor drops Civil War rematch. Wow, the gall. We're not moving the goalposts today, though. We're going to plan them.
What do you know about the timing of National Guard deployment, and what do you want Chicagoans and police to do in response?
Well, look, this president has waffled on multiple occasions, which I believe is evident that we have been so emphatic in our position and resolved in our presentation that this president has attempted to find many different maneuvers to try to circumvent the power that we are establishing. Here's what the police department will do. They're going to protect our fundamental right to be able to peacefully assemble. They know that. They're going to make sure that we are not coordinating absent a warrant and forcing our local law enforcement to dub as federal ICE agents. As far as the people of Chicago continue to stand firm, continue to document the rage that this administration is promulgating against the people of this city. And then I'm asking, of course, all of our elected officials, whether it's through executive order or through the passing of laws, to ensure that we maximize protection in this city.
So the official position is protect protests. Don't help the feds without a warrant. Cool. Protect speech. I'm with that. But when the speech morphs into tactics, blocking cruisers, telling agents, you don't call that community organizing. You call that interference. And I stand with ICE doing that job, point blank, period. And if you think that tone was accidental, wait till you hear the mayor's next line, y'all.
I said very candidly that the right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now, because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
That's right.
He's more interested in giving billions of dollars to other nations, while farmers in urban cities around this country are literally being destabilized.
The nerve.
And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's through executive order, or whether it's through the brave women and men who are serving as rapid responders. We literally have people who are volunteering in this city, on the southwest side, the northwest side, all over this city, to make sure that we're protecting children from being separated from their families. And we're talking about volunteers who are literally putting themselves at risk of being shot and killed by the federal government. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's our continuous struggle for liberation through organizing, and whether it's through executive action, or whether it's through law, it would be nice if we actually had lawmakers in Washington that would actually hold this president accountable. And if they won't do it, then the city of Chicago will, using every single tool that's available to us.
Civil War rematch. He says, Civil War rematch. President declared war on Chicago. As American Papa Bear put it down here, the right does not want a civil war. We just want to be left alone. The left definitely doesn't want a civil war. Brother, in relation to Brandon Johnson, that is, you don't de-escalate by dumping gasoline on a city microphone. Leaders lower the temperature. They don't dead a room to boil. Paperwork and warrants? Sure. Paint ICE as invading soldiers? That's how you get civilians trying to play hero in traffic. Speaking of heroic cosplay, watch what drivers did next.
And in a moment, that has now gone viral from Friday. A city alderperson, Jesse Fuentes, was handcuffed by a group believed to be ICE agents at a hospital after Fuentes repeatedly asked if they had a warrant for a man that they had detained. DHS has not addressed this incident involving Fuentes specifically, but the agency released a statement on Friday saying in part, quote, at the hospital, nearly 30 protesters attempted to break into where the detainee was receiving medical care. We will not be deterred by rioters and protesters in keeping America safe. Let's bring in Alderperson Jesse Fuentes, who represents Chicago's 26th Ward. So thanks first for being here with us. Let's back up for a second. What brought you to that hospital in the first place, and what went through your mind as you were being handcuffed?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Well, first, I was at a different location responding to ICE agents throwing tear gas just a couple hundred feet away from an elementary school, where tear gas had gone into an apartment affecting a pregnant woman, young people, and parents on their way from schools. When I received a phone call from the leadership of Humboldt Park Health that had concerns around ICE agents being in the emergency room, scaring their staff and other patients in the emergency room. So I went over to the hospital and I simply asked the ICE agents if they had a signed judicial warrant for the individual that they were trying to detain inside of the emergency room. Now, I know the department has made claims that there's protesters trying to break into the hospital, but I just have to say that those claims are not only false, they're flat out lies. I was outside of the hospital until about 10 o'clock that night. No one tried to break in. No one was harassing the ICE agents. In fact, the only person harassed, physically abused in that situation was me. In the video, you see me handcuffed, but what you don't see is that I was shoved twice by that ICE agent up against the wall for simply exercising my right as an older person to advocate for my constituents, to ask a question, and to ensure that they are being lawful in their detainments.
When I look at this video, I can't tell that those are any kind of official. Did you know for sure that they were ICE agents? And how did this end up resolved? Because clearly you're not still detained. So how are you released, and do you expect to face any charges? I know I got a lot of questions all formed in there, but maybe let's take the first one. Like, did you know they were ICE officials?
Listen how she framed that, man.
The question to the answer is, one would assume with the way they approached the situation that they were the ICE agents that the hospital was speaking of. But if you look at them, you can't tell. They're in masks without badges, no identification, and they're sitting in a hospital saying that they have the right to detain an individual without any legal documents. The reason I was let go is because I'm someone who knows their rights. And I knew that I didn't do anything wrong. When these ICE agents take me outside of the hospital, they call for backup and Border Patrol comes up. And I asked them to simply articulate to me, what crime did I commit? I wasn't impeding on any arrest. The individual that they were trying to detain was in an emergency room outside of that space that I was standing in. I wasn't meeting them with any aggression. I wasn't physically touching anybody. And so I demanded answers. I demanded for them to tell me why they were arresting me and detaining me. Border Patrol, in that instance, demanded that the handcuffs be removed. So I was not charged, and I do not believe that any charges will come down.
And so you described sort of the context in which all of this took place. There was that flurry of ICE activity throughout the city on Friday, and Illinois Governor Pritzker gave more details about one ICE operation that took place there. Let's listen.
They were going after a few gang members, and instead they broke windows, they broke down doors, they ransacked the place, and there were people that were held, elderly people and children zip-tied. Elderly people held for 3 hours at a time. They are the ones that are making it a war zone.
How is your community reacting to all of this?
Well, our communities are scared, right? Because it's been very clear that this is not about immigration. This is a war that has been put out by President Trump on the city of Chicago. We have citizens that are being detained, citizens that are contract workers outside getting their heads slammed against wall, children who are unclothed being zip-tied and taken out of their homes in the middle of the night. Yesterday, individuals brutalized with pepper spray and guns. These are individuals that are in military vehicles with huge weapons, literally intimidating individuals in the city of Chicago. This is not immigration crackdown. This is not even about safety or security. This is about control, because Donald Trump believes that he is a king instead of a president.
Jesse Fuentes, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also following break.
Now, you hear war, you get war behavior. The shield becomes rhetoric, then the rhetoric becomes resistance tactics. I don't need adjectives. The video, it sells itself. My standard is simple. Don't box in federal agents. Don't tell them. Don't turn the street into a scrimmage, right? You want policy change? Vote, sue, lobby. Not this. Now, here's the dash cam that proves how fast it escalated. Yeah, according to this post, let me see if I can zoom out. This is what ICE is dealing with in Chicago. Groups of people, mostly foreigners, follow their every movement, running red lights, honking their horns to warn illegals of their whereabouts, and trying to box in their vehicles. It's insurrectionist activity, plain and simple, he put it. Red light, white van runs it, black sedan follows, SUV joins. That's not community safety. That's, how do I say, pinch maneuver traffic on law enforcement. If you cheer this, flip it. Would you clap if, oh, I'm sorry, I ain't got this on the screen properly. I'm over here trying to talk to y'all. Maybe I should just go back to the screen. But, would you clap if gang cars did this to CPD? Exactly. Keep your energy consistent. And the crowd playbook, it wasn't subtle either. Yasavon, or Yasavon at 38th and Kinsey, celebrating the vans leaving. Look, I'm not mad at people for being human. I'm mad at leaders who frame this like it's moral high ground while officers are outnumbered. Laws don't become illegitimate because Twitter had a long weekend, you know? If Chicago wants different laws, change the law, not the lane lines. Meanwhile, the federal posture, it wasn't exactly small ball.
He led 300 federal officials to that apartment complex. Some even rappelled down from Blackhawks onto the rooftop in order to help secure that perimeter. Now, they were searching for suspected members of the violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. Of course,
they need to get out of Chicago.
My bad.
They need to get out of Chicago. They need to get out of Chicago.
Fuck you, you fuckers! Fuck you! Fucking bitches.
They need to get out of Chicago.
Of Homeland Security says ICE agents were targeted in several vehicle attacks yesterday. DHS shared these photos of ICE vehicles they say were damaged in those assaults. The agency says 2 undocumented immigrants tried to ram and injure officers in Bensenville and Norridge yesterday.
They need to get out of Chicago.
You have 30 Border Patrol agents that are being swarmed, pinned in, attacked. You have a domestic terrorist that was doxing agents and officers. She has a firearm in the vehicle. They have to return fire. Yet the officers of Chicago PD are told to stand down.
They need to get out of Chicago.
Wow, Mayor Johnson announces ice-free zones. 300 feds, Blackhawks. Why that footprint? Because interference already crossed lines. Vehicles ramming, pinned in agents. That's what happens when city policy says step back while the street says step on the gas. Federal shows up big when locals, how do I even say this? Abdicate. And when the receipts leak, the only line nobody in City Hall wants to own.
Little more. There you go. Where are you headed? To Michigan. We're at Michigan. 1 second, sir. Wyoming. Where? Wyoming, Michigan. Wyoming, Michigan? Yeah. All right, be safe. Cool. All right, thank you. I got to switch my voice up just a little bit, right? So we can start a conversation. But they're still asking, like, where you going? If you don't know how to speak that proper English, man, they'll pull you in.
Quick palate cleanser. ICE at Michigan Way Station enforcing basic compliance and English proficiency rules. Let me translate that for y'all. Actual enforcement still looks like enforcement. Quiet, boring, lawful. That's the normal day you never get to see go viral. But back to Chicago leadership, because the comms we heard next, they are going to explain everything.
Definitely appears as though the Chicago Chief of Patrol might be finding himself in a little bit of trouble. This most certainly isn't going to be good for anybody that's involved. So, according to an internal dispatch report, the Chicago police were told to stand down by the Chief of Patrol when ICE agents called in seeking backup. That wasn't smart.
99. Yeah, 7 cars in the direction. Have them stay put 2 or 3 blocks away, all right? Have them hold tight until I give you further direction, please.
Okay, so 4 MPD units responding to 39th Police in Kedzie per 999. If you guys can just... So units responding to 39th Police in Kedzie, if you guys can start heading there as quick as you can, and then just hold tight for instructions with 999.
999.
999.
Pull the Chief of Patrol, clear everybody up. We're not responding over there.
Radio set. Again, per the Chief of Patrol, we have all the units that per 999. Chief of Patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
You know what? This is so shameful. Are there any good cops in Chicago? Because had that have been me, I would have been disobeying that direct order and I would have been going to help. These officers have a duty to protect and serve. That was an unlawful order that was given. They have an oath. They have principles that they're supposed to be abiding by. And that completely goes against their principles. This here is just another reason why President Trump has been stepping in to handle business. Well, it definitely...
Well, stay 2-3 blocks away, hold tight for instructions. That's not policing, that's spectating. When agents are surrounded, watch from 2 blocks out is a policy choice, and it creates the exact chaos we just watched. So, I'm standing with ICE doing the job the law requires without theatrics. Okay? If City Hall wants different outcomes, change the law on the words and back your officers when things get hot. Same thing. If you were the mayor for one day, what's the first policy you signed that lowers the heat and keeps agents safe? Drop that in the comments. But if you made it to the end of the video, not only do I want you to do that, I want you to write, I need back your officers. Boom, there we go. Back your officers. Y'all be safe. Please go check on a friend today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.